The city was a restless beast. Even at midnight, the hum of traffic, distant honking of cars, and the occasional shout in the distance created a constant undercurrent of noise. But for Obinna Okoye, codename Agu, the night had always been his ally. The night draped itself over Lagos like a heavy, suffocating blanket, choking the usual chaos of the city into a pent-up angry hum. Obinna slid through the streets, a ghost among the restless. The flickering street lights above cast long, jagged shadows on the cracked asphalt beneath his boots. He blended into them with practiced ease, his form fluid and soundless. He moved like a shadow through the alleyways of Ikeja, his senses heightened. Tonight wasn't just any mission, it was the key to toppling Operation Chokehold, General Bako's latest plan to crush the resistance. If Sorosuke was going to stop the regime, this was their only shot. Ahead, the warehouse loomed like a forgotten giant, its rusted structure barely visible against the midnight sky. It stood at the end of a narrow, graffiti-scarred alleyway where the smell of damp concrete and oil clung to the air. A place once full of life, now swallowed by decay. Obinna adjusted the collar of his black jacket, the leather stiff from the cool night breeze. His fingers brushed the earpiece tucked under his hood. The device was small, invisible to the untrained eye. He pressed it lightly. "Agu to Orisha," he whispered, his voice a low rumble against the stillness. "I'm in position." A quick crackle, followed by a calm, deep voice on the other end. "Okay, Agu," Orisha responded, using the Igbo phrase meaning, "Steady, lion." His words carried a weight of quiet confidence. "Get what you need and disappear. Operation Chokehold depends on this." Obinna nodded to himself. Though Orisha couldn't see, he always stayed steady. This was just another mission, except it wasn't. This was bigger. The stakes felt higher, and the air around him thrummed with an unseen tension, thick and oppressive. Something wasn't right. He slipped into the alley, his movements precise, calculated. The crunch of loose gravel underfoot was the only sound that followed him. Ahead, the rusted door of the warehouse came into view, hanging on its hinges like an old wound that had never quite healed. It groaned under the weight of his push, the sound slicing through the silence like a scream, echoing off the walls. Inside, darkness swallowed him whole. The faintest flicker of light struggled to fight the shadows from a single desk lamp at the far end of the room. Its glow cast a weak, yellowish hue over the man seated beneath it, Commander Ikemba. The man's silhouette was sharp, angular, the curve of his jaw catching the light as he scrolled through something on his laptop. His posture, stiff and unbothered, suggested a man unafraid of the shadows around him, a man who believed himself untouchable. Obinna's heart quickened, but his breath remained steady. He crouched beneath a stack of wooden crates, old and splintered, the smell of mold and dust thick in the air. His eyes flickered to Ikemba, who remained unaware, his focus never leaving the screen. Obinna's hand slipped inside his jacket, fingers coiling around a small USB drive hidden there. Just a few more steps and it would be over. The drive contained everything Sorosuke needed to expose General Bako's plans for Operation Chokehold. One quick transfer from Ikemba's laptop and the resistance would have the upper hand. He moved closer, his steps as silent as the ghost that haunted this abandoned place. The dust in the air seemed to hang, suspended in the stillness, waiting for something to disturb it. Then, just as his hand hovered near the edge of Ikemba's desk, his phone vibrated against his chest. The sensation jolted him, but he didn't pause. His fingers wrapped around his phone, pulling it out slowly, carefully. The screen glowed faintly, and Obinna's stomach clenched at the sight of the message. "The No! Get out now! Obinna's eyes flickered to Ikemba again, his body tensing, every muscle coiled like a spring about to snap. The message was from Amaka, short, urgent, and enough to send his mind spinning. He had to leave now. But the mission, he was so close. One more second and he'd have the drive. One more second and he'd know the truth about Operation Chokehold. But something had changed. The air in the room was no longer still. Obinna could feel it, a shift in the atmosphere. Ikemba's posture stiffened. His hand paused over the keyboard, fingers twitching slightly. The hair on the back of Obinna's neck stood on end. Had Ikemba noticed him? A creak from behind. Obinna's instinct screamed danger. He turned, eyes scanning the darkness, and caught the faintest glint of metal. A gun. He was trapped. His body reacted before his mind had time to catch up. He ducked low, darting back into the shadows as a bullet whizzed past his ear, embedding itself into the stacks of crates behind him. Splinters exploded into the air, the smell of burnt wood sharp in his nose. There wasn't time. He had to move, had to escape. Obinna's feet hit the ground hard, his breath coming fast and shallow. He sprinted for the door, his mind racing. He had underestimated them. They knew he was coming. They had planned for this. As he burst through the rotten door into the cold night air, the sounds of Lagos returned in full force. Distant horns blaring, the hum of traffic and the faint chatter of nightlife in the distance. But Obinna's world was silent. His focus narrowed to one thing: survival. The city's shadow closed in around him once more as he disappeared into the night, his mind only on one thought: what now? Yo, Wagwan, waiting this up, how far? If you like this story and would like to hear more episodes of Shadows of Freedom, do subscribe and follow Jesusson on all social media platforms. Till later.